Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today is going to be a very busy day with a bunch of new stuff with Kremlin, Azure Lane Wave 7. There's a ton of it. That being said, I don't talk about this in every video, but this is a Monday update big campaign video. If you guys want the new information and stuff as I test out new ships and commanders and all this, as Monday we generally do our Monday stream on the new ships, you definitely are going to want to subscribe to the channel, okay? I don't like saying that, but I always get asked, what do you do just for on Mondays? Just go ahead and subscribe. Monday is always the busiest day here on the channel. For Warships, it's not even close. I'm guessing today alone, there's probably going to be 5 videos if you guys want to check them out. But let's get into the update and news, guys. So, first off, I have a code that I hopefully remember to put up on the screen for you guys for a free winter crate as well. So I will try to remember that. Otherwise, check the pin comment down below. But there's a code for a free winter crate camos and stuff. So, and I know this is going to be a long video, so I'm trying to do the fast as I can and condense as much information as I can. But the new campaign, guys, it is the Somme. I don't know how to pronounce that. But it is a Jutland, as you guys can see. It's a Jutland. It's a battle class destroyer. So Jutland with a torpedo reload booster. It's a torpedo focused Jutland, basically. It looks interesting. I think I'll like it, but I actually don't mind torpedo boats. I think most people like Jutland more. So interesting thing with this, you have short smokes, right? And the really kind of more unique thing here is a torpedo booster, or you can get the heal. Uh, it's an infinite torpedo reload boost. It's interesting because it's timed with your torpedoes, right? If I remember correctly, your torpedoes don't do a ton of damage, but you can put a crap ton of them out there. You can put 10 out every 2 minutes, and I think your consumable, if you took the torpedo, is a little bit over 2 minutes. Yeah, so very kind of could line them up a little bit. I don't know. I kind of would think I might take the heel over it, though, to be quite honest with you. That's just me. I don't know. I'll have to play with it and tell you guys what I think when that time comes. But again, uh, a, from what I can tell, it's basically a more torpedo focused Jutland, right? But the guns aren't going to be atrocious on it either. So it could be a very strong ship. There is a free starter pack for Takabachi, the tier 2 to Japanese destroyer. I'm going to slaughter so many names in this video today, you guys are going to be shocked. Also, now today, quickly before we get into the brand new stuff, the hybrid carriers are now out, right? For Japanese. So, uh, you guys, it's free. I have videos all up on them on the channel. They're in the Japanese Battleship playlist. We just got done doing them. So if you guys want to check them out, they're there too. So they're in the description. Um, that being said, we also have a new Bureau project. It's Gordon Liu, and for a lot of people, we already have, that could get it earlier. I believe from like a crate. We have it. I already have it, and I have a guide up on it. I probably will do a video on it this week too again because it's out. And actually, there will probably be a Gordon Liu bureau guide today for you guys on how to get through this bureau really quick. Oh, jeepers. Are they trying to sell me something here? Nope. Okay. But very good ship. Obviously, super powerful, right? So, we can look quickly like at it. It's an airstrike ship, guys. Oh, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because we have a lot to get through today. But it's got the airstrike. It's got 283 millimeter guns. You guys can see I don't play it. It's a bit overpowered. So so I don't generally play overpowered ships too often unless I need to for videos. That being said, There is two new modifications, guys, and we're gonna take a look at them quick. Some of the stuff, obviously, myself even, I haven't been able to look at because I am doing the guide with you, but I did look a little bit at some stuff. So in slot I got my notes in front of me because I was trying to remember all this stuff to put in the video after looking at some of it. At slot 3, there's supposedly a new one. Yep, chromium plated burials, main battery dispersion. It's going to be a very interesting one. I don't want to have a heavy opinion on this until I test it. But 5 extra per dispersion might be very handy on some ships. I don't know about taking a 10% detection in the incoming fire dispersion. That fire dispersion is a big bonus, right? So getting shot at is 5% and you get a detection bonus. Having 5% on your main guns is good, but I still think this is probably going to be the better option because you get detection and dispersion against you, that same dispersion. So, I mean, I'd like to think this one's going to stay better, but I'm gonna try it and then I will get back to you. I don't like having an opinion too much beforehand. Also, for the other modification on a British ships above tier 5, except for Belfron, there is supercharges now. Main battery range 5% and the AP penetration is 10%. So a significant one, but you do lose 5% grouping. Again, I'm going to try to keep my opinion until I test it. So I'm going to keep it light. I actually think this one's going to be pretty decent, particularly on ships that don't have prop mod. But again, you're losing grouping, so that one's a tough one. I need to play with that one a little bit more before I have a heavy opinion. But I think that one might be the more interesting one out of the two. Um, so also here we have the Kremlin Marathon. If you guys didn't know, I don't play the other WoW's game. So for PC, so I didn't really know much about this thing. But 18-inch guns, it looks like it looks like a Soviet Soyuz um, hull. Let's take a look really quick. Similar, if not the same. Yeah, yep. It looks pretty much like a Soyuz hull. Might not be exactly the same, but it's gonna be tough probably. You're probably not gonna want to go broadside in it. And this is a marathon where you get ship parts through the campaign, and there are some missions for it. We'll show a little bit probably for that. Good heal looks like. Not the best consumables other than the heal though. Main gun shell grouping for actually a Russian battleship is not atrocious. Remember, these are going to get incredible probably when it's really close in. Not the much for secondaries. AA defense looks not terrible. The number is higher than what it is because you see a lot of it at 3.5 or so. So again, everything else pretty standard for a Russian battleship. I don't know how this one will be. The AP looks particularly not bad, right? So, um, and then also we have a calendar for the Geist. It's a 3-week calendar. Also gives you a few interesting things, including the big battleship crate. Um, and her little bonus is, I believe, I can't remember. I think it was something with main batteries, like 30% XP for one fight. So, with that out of the way, we are there's new missions for a new commander that as we're gonna see here. Let's go into the missions. There's one for Azure Lane, obviously, and there's one for the new commander, which I did take a look at. He is going to be very interesting, especially for people that don't have Robin LaFierce. He's got some interesting traits. When we do unlock him, I probably will do a video on him. But he's going to be he's a gunboat captain, and his unique skill is going to be I think he extends by 22% your reload booster. So that's very interesting for a destroyer. But his base trait um, is in my opinion, it's a little bit more damage up to 4% or something on destroyers. And but Robin LaFierce's 2% fire chance on a destroyer is, when you're putting that many shells downrange is big. So again, I want to test that one before I get too heavily opinionated on it, right? Um, and also, too, let's go to the shop where it gets expensive, and we're going to talk about a few things in here. So we have Azure Lane Wave 7. So I'm guessing at some point during this, let's go take a look. Special. At some point, I'm sure during this event, they're going to release a lot of the other Azure Lane stuff. I have every Azure Lane guide possible in the playlist. Okay, so in fact, we just got done doing some more of them last week with ship commanders and all the commanders as well. But you guys can see there is a hefty price tag on these new ones. And I would highly recommend not talk the crates. So really quickly, these crates are atrocious rates, and I'm not saying this to tell you to buy it or not buy it. For example, the tier 6 ship is only a 3% drop. The last crates that they did, the tier 7s were a 5% um, in Azure Lane, the Azure Lane 6 crates. So these drop rates are atrocious, and they've been getting worse in a lot of stuff. This is no different. Again, I am not trying to um, tell you to not get them or get them. I'm just saying the drop rate is not good in these, okay? For ships, if you're going for ships. The commanders are a 10% drop rate on them. So, that being said, we have a lot of new Azure Lane here. And I will, once I'm not, I'll be honest, guys, with the drop rates the way they are and the expense of the game. I'm not a CC. I don't get these for free. Um, I don't know what I'll have and not have. Right, a lot of it is tough to see what's there is for value. I will have probably the commanders, and again, I will be doing a commander guide on Wave 7 later when I get to test them out more. But we'll take a quick look at them here. For these ships, Azure Lane, Azure, it's Azure, but it has better secondaries and uh, less range and accuracy. Okay, but the secondaries, one thing to note, Azure is a pretty tough ship. You have that weird cheek to get hit on. Uh, you only have 18 secondaries, and that's a tough thing to sell at tier 7. They are quarter pen. So, again, this for me could be a good ship. I like Azure a lot. It's absolutely one of my favorite ships in the game. This is the one I'm hoping to honestly get. We'll see. Um, but just keep in mind, you only have 18 secondaries. Now, they are 128s with quarter pens. So you're penning 32. So these are going to do damage. But just keep that in mind. But this is going to be a very, very good ship up close. And we're going to talk about why something else that helps us here in a second. But this ship, I think in the right hands where people like me are very aggressive, close in players and can do it a lot of times with surviving. I know a lot of people play more at range now. It's the new quote unquote meta, but really, if you're good at playing in close, you're going to beat way more people than playing at range. That's just a fact. You can affect more of the range or the map. So. That being said, we also have AL Talon. This is it. Obviously, these ships are based on ships in the game, but you get reload booster here that you can get, and 8 heals. I don't know how you could use 8 heals in a ship. I would baffle me. In fact, why do they have 8 heals? Because you couldn't even use these with cooldowns and consumables. That's over 2 minutes. That you can't even use 8. Why would you put 8 on a ship? Yeah, because even if you use these one after another, even right at the start of the match, that's 16 minutes. Over 16 minutes. Looking, actually, it's over 17 minutes. Just off of quick math. Uh, Newsflash, matches are only 15 minutes. And I doubt you're going to take a hit in the first 1 second. This is, you probably, anything really generally over 4 or 5 is pretty unusable, but pretty interesting. Um, so you do lose reload in health compared to the normal Talon. As you can see, the reload is a little bit higher. So just note that when you're talking about it. Interesting ship, but I don't know why we have 45,000 heals on it. Veneto. So this has actually, this will be an interesting as well. It's slightly better secondaries, but at 6.2, they're not going to be great. These things aren't going to be out at 12 kilometers or heck, even 11 kilometers. These are going to be probably in that high nines, low tens, depending on your commanders. They are AP. There's something that does make the, or SAP. They are going to be a thing that makes the ship interesting because there's a commander, again, like Azure for this, or Agir, whatever you want to, guys. I'm a slaughter pronunciations, right? Um, you have also two. You have a sonar on this, or in place of your heals, but I don't know why. I mean, it would. I guess I could see that be interesting to take the sonars, but giving up heals in a brawling battleship, if that's how you would play it, is it would be a rough thing to do. And then versus the other one, you lose reload in health. So again, not taking the health then in that scenario is a rough one. And we have Azure Lane Z at 23 again, or 24. This is a Z23 torp build basically. It has a slightly better sonar uh, and torp range. As you guys are going to see here, the torp range is out at 11. But you lose your guns and reload, basically, right? So your HE alpha goes down, your HE damage goes down, and your reload is 6.2. So one that's the interesting thing about that ship. We'll take a very quick look at commanders. So we have Azure. This is a unique commander. I will get more in depth with these commanders on a Commander Wave 7 video probably later today. I want to use these before I get too heavily opinionated. But there is going to be some interesting ones. This commander, I did take a quick glance at it in the shop. This is going to be interesting for Schroeder and the new Azure ship. Okay. So she's a cruiser commander, Azure Lane Azure, Abysmal Banquet, incoming damage her cruisers and cruiser shell grouping. A very good base trait, in my opinion. I'm not saying the best in the game, but a very good one. One that you could even use on other ships if you wanted. She's a hybrid secondary cruiser commander, which is the first one in the game. And when I say hybrid, she's actually full hybrid, meaning she has the survivability traits as you see here that you see for agile type builds or them type of builds. She has a damage build, she has the secondary build. She actually is a pretty good commander all in all. So for example, here you have Ingenious, which would be really, really helpful as in a brawler. But then again, with the turret traverse showing how many people are looking at you. Also, she has Piercer. I mean, she's got so many good traits and versatility This is one that's going to get overlooked because people are going to go, oh, it's only for secondary ships like Schroeder. No, you could use this for a lot of things with the new presets, right? I mean, she can even be hybrid. This base trait is really good. So, you could, I'm not saying that you want to, but you could even build this into like an agility build or even a damage build because you still have piercer, punch through, and fixated, right? With fully packed and refill station. So again, I think this is like a Dunkirk type or a Hyde type commander, but for cruisers, right? You're so flexible and you have a lot of good options here. So her unique base trait obviously is abysmal or abysmal banquet. We talked about it, and then she has Jutton's jaws. While projectile damage to your incoming projectile damage to your cruiser, while secondaries are aiming are 6% less. So she has this very tankiness build like Bismarck commander, who, as you guys know, is already I like her quite a bit for tanky secondary builds. She's amazing because of that. And then battery shell damage 10 for 10 seconds per main battery shot is 14%. So a very I mean I really like this commander. I haven't used it, but I will be, and I will tell you later on what I think. But I definitely think with her versatility, her uniqueness, her ability to do other things that commanders can do in the game, so you could build into this and essentially get three commanders. So Azure Lane Talon, her unique base trait is Memorial Ice and Iron. Bonus to cruiser main battery shell dispersion and grouping per consumable use. Kind of an improvement to main battery dispersion and grouping. Maximum improvement is 7%. So, uh, man, this would be kind of interesting with fully packed. I don't know how that one will shake out. Again, a pretty interesting commander. I don't know if, for me, if it takes over Kuzanov or be delightful. However, there is a lot here that I could see certain people liking her better, definitely. Her, as you can see, her unique skill, obviously, too. Bonus to cooldown, consumable cooldown per main battery hit with 20%. So, with fully packed, this could be a fun build on a lot of Russian cruisers. Uh, it'll be interesting. This is one I definitely am intrigued by and want to try more. Okay, so you do have a lot of the normal stuff here as well. And honestly, having crisscross for I know she has puncher here, but crisscross is actually handy for ships like Petro as well. So unique, very unique. Well, like I said, want to test it though. Now for Azure and Veneto, this is going to be very interesting as well because D. Ravel is the secondary commander for the British right now, or the Italians right now, and he has a great base trait of reload boost. So most people or the battleship reload, so he's going to be maxed out for a lot of people. But I feel like Veneto might offer enough where you may want to build into her, right? You might not be able to use her for bureaus, but if you do like secondary battle or Italian battleships, which they're very risky because their secondaries are generally much shorter. She is a great base trait as an Eternal Flagship, secondary shell damage up to 4%, and secondary dispersion at 5%. Also, she has the normal secondary inspirations along with Banner of Splendor, battleship speed while smoke generator is active, and the smoke generator time, and you get extra smoke charge. That's all buffed up. Interesting things here. She has secondary interest, helping with secondary dispersion. I just think as a secondary commander, she's going to be better. I think D Ravel, everybody's gonna have resources in. Um, so it's a tough argument, a sell, but I think in a lot of ways, if you're going secondaries for the Italians, it's gonna be very good, particularly because she has properly meticulous in the three or row three instead of row four. I wouldn't necessarily take Splendor of Banner of Splendor. I would take Master Mechanic myself. Uh, and then you still would get properly meticulous, which you don't normally get to do. So again, her only downside, in my opinion, is you don't have accuracy for main guns, which on a normal secondary commander is obviously normal. And she doesn't have fight fire with fire if you want that option. But she does have running with scissors, which can be good for Italians and secondary interests. So, um, again, very unique. Um, that being said, we get to Azure Lane in Massachusetts, and when I seen this, my mind just blew. Okay. So for me, obviously, there's Lee and C people use Cybertron. For me, is I use Kong for my secondary battleships. Most people don't understand that he's a secondary commander as well, because his base trait is really helpful on battleships, American battleships that have great AA like Massachusetts, Rhode Island, uh, Ohio, even. Like I know other people go the other way, but in my opinion, Kong's the best one right now. I know people will say Cybertron or whatever, but I just don't agree. That being said, though, we now have Azure Lane, Massachusetts, and this is probably, in my opinion, I don't know. I obviously being that this just came out, I don't know what other people are saying, but I think this is the best commander, and it's not just because it's American commander, it's because she's a Dunkirk Hyde commander, and better in my opinion. This may, even though there's not very many American battleships, secondary battleships. Wow, is she powerful? Okay. And I don't want to oversell this because there's not a ton of American secondary battleships. But if people like Dunkirk or Hyde, she's going to be even better because she has all the good perks. Plus, her base trait is better than both of theirs. So her base trait is Big Mommy, Mammy. So you guys don't know, that's not a joke on her boobs. That's a joke on Massachusetts, or not a joke. That's a nickname of Massachusetts, the ship. But her secondary shells that deal or travel over 5K. So basically, if they come off your ship, they're going to deal 10% extra damage. That's absolutely huge. Plus, you still have no fly zone or in Brawler if you want it. I wouldn't recommend it or not over the fly zone. Would it be cool to have something another here? Yeah, but it doesn't matter because no fly zone is really good on a ship like, um, Massachusetts. The American battleships in general have good AC, so always a good one to have. And that one for the nuisance is helpful. But this is where she becomes pretty interesting here. She is porcupine uh, and marksmanship. So she's gonna be that main hybrid where you're gonna have secondaries and still have decent main guns, right? And that's big. Her unique skill is 2,700 pounds of justice. If you guys don't know, that is exactly the weight of the why I always say throwing Volkswagens in my video because the 2,700 pounds of justice, that's the shell weight of the American AP, the the bigger 16-inch shell, right? There's two of them. So this is the one that would be for that they kind of developed for the later fast battleships. So you're gonna see these Massachusetts, Iowa in real life. I'm being a dork right now, history stuff. But anyway, her secondary battery reload time at 12%, battleship main battery damage while the enhanced secondary targeting is active, 12%. I would like to say Master Mechanic's going to be a little bit better, but this is actually a very interesting trait, being that you could get another two secondary charges. So getting your main batteries to go 12% more damage while them are going off. Ooh, I mean, in the right scenarios, like for me, listen, I know people are gonna argue with me. Rhode Island, because of the secondaries and the radar. I play secondary ship because it's so good at getting destroyers. This could be absolutely destructive in the right hands. These two, if you run secondary interest and 2,700 pounds of justice. Uh, it'll be interesting. This is a commander that I will put resources in right away, obviously. And then we have the Z-24 commander, a torp build. Listen, I know people like Blue Furia, but you're just making your torps hit not very good. Sure, you get a better reload, but it's up to you. I don't really use on I don't use torp commanders on Germany. Not when you have Eric Bay, such a good commander sitting there. Uh, I just don't. All right. He gives you a free inspiration to use when you use him. So I'm gonna be a little biased on this one. I don't think it's that great. I think it's interesting. If you're gonna use a secondary commander, I would probably use it over Blue Furia, but that's just me. Phoenix Rampage, bonus to damage the torpedo per hit, maximum subsequent damage, destroyer torpedo damage, up to 8%. Um, Definitely a helpful base trait, but is it better than Eric Bay's? Not in my opinion. Outside of that, she's a Torp commander along with Boon of Crimson Darkest. Destroyer torpedo damage while inside of a smoke screen, 12% damage, and torpedo reload at 6%. Actually, for this at row 4, this is a good, very good base trait, or a very good trait. I do like this for a unique skill. Sorry, not trait. Um, So I do like her as a torpedo commander, but again, you're talking about, are you going to use her over Bay, which for most people who are watching this video can use her Bay also as the gunboats commander, the commander for everything, and use them in the bureau. I just don't see it myself personally, but to each their own, right? Uh, so also too, one thing quickly, Repub is the shop in sale, but and don't forget to grab your daily crate. Repub is a shop and sale. We just did a video on Repub, but I'll try to do that one as well. Uh, and then outside of that, I didn't really. Oh, the French ships. I almost forgot about this. So you in this thing, there's a drop rate, I believe. I'll pull it up really quickly. Um, it's not good for the ships, I guess, but it's as you can see. I'll look here quickly. Um, oh, you can get the new skins at a 9% drop, and Strasbourg at a 4%, and Flandre at a 3% drop. So again, for these crates, you get the new skins, or you can get like a 3% drop and 4% drop on Flandre and Strasbourg. That's up to you on that. Also, these skins will give you ship parts for the marathon. I didn't really get a chance to look at these, but they actually look pretty. They do seem. Oh, we'll go back over. I don't always get into skins, but I like them better than a new ship. Than them reskinning something put out, and oh my gosh, that is actually really cool. I do like these new skins. Oh wow, that is really well done. Kudos to Wargaming. You may have gotten us on these new crate drops, but I love these skins. That is interesting, actually. Um, and then there is Flandre and Strasbourg on sale as well here. So again, very big update. Probably going to be a few more videos coming out too as I play with the Azure Lane commanders and test them out more, and also possibly the new ships and whatnot. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. We probably still will stream today, even with all this new stuff when I get the opportunity. But hopefully you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time, folks.